Hello, thanks for joining a new video. Today we review the Amazfit Balance 2. Let's begin. This watch has surpassed my expectations and I really liked it. We'll go over it step by step so you can get familiar with it. But for now, let me tell you its launch price in Mexico, which is 5,999 pesos, roughly $320. Keep in mind that prices here differ from over there. Also, remember this is an introductory price. There might be promotions and more later. And it's available for purchase on Amazon. You can also find it on Amazfit's official store. In fact, when you shop there, you have the option to use the Balance 2 ISA coupon, which gives you an additional 5% discount as a nice extra detail. Now let's explore what this watch has to offer. Although it may not be the most economical choice, I can assure you that the experience it provides will undoubtedly be very positive. Let's begin by discussing the design in detail. The format is, as you can clearly see, circular. On the front, we will find the sapphire crystal, which is designed to protect and defend this area perfectly well, avoiding scratches and more. Additionally, it has a thickness of 12.3 millimeters. While it may not be the thinnest watch available on the market, believe me, it doesn't feel with your comfort or feel cumbersome or heavy. It has a specific weight of 42 grams. And as I was mentioning, it truly isn't uncomfortable in the slightest. The band is similar to rubber and will provide us with a standard clasp. There is nothing revolutionary here. Additionally, we will find a conventional mechanism to remove and change these bands to the one you prefer. Concerning the materials, we will encounter an aluminum alloy frame that is quite thin and somehow encircles the screen. Furthermore, the case is constructed of fiber-reinforced polymer. I must emphasize that it is really quite comfortable when you wear it. It doesn't cause any skin irritation or anything similar. In the box, they also provide a red strap, allowing you to select the color you prefer. In this instance, I've opted for the black strap. As you can see, we will actually find two buttons on the side, and it's interesting because one of them is a digital crown. By default, the watch is set up with a navigation mode using the buttons. You can toggle this on or off as you prefer. I like that with the digital crown, you navigate items and select by pressing it, or go back by pressing the bottom button. This is button navigation, but in regular mode, the rotating crown is for scrolling with a touch. On the digital crown, you have the ability to navigate to the home screen. Alternatively, you can choose to access the list of all available apps. This button doesn't support 2-tap or 3-tap gestures. However, it does support a long tap, which by default opens the voice assistant. We'll discuss this feature a bit later, and it is really awesome. Alternatively, you can set it to open any other app or tool on the watch through the settings. Now, as for the button at the bottom, a single tap will access the exercise mode, but you can also configure it to open something else, even though it doesn't support those gestures either. It doesn't need 3 or prolonged touches. Perhaps there I would prefer a bit more versatility, allowing for more shortcut options in the configuration. Around the watch, you will notice some perforations, which are for the speakers and microphones, and on the back, you will find the corresponding sensors. Let me remind you that this watch is equipped with 10 ATM water resistance. This means you can even go diving and the watch will withstand it excellently. In fact, it is highly advisable that when you plan to engage in water activities, you lock the screen. There is a small lock button specifically for this purpose. Additionally, when you exit the water, there is a button designed to expel water by emitting sounds through the speaker. Therefore, it is very well designed in terms of both function and resistance. The screen is a mold, 5 inches in diameter. It is a very good screen with a resolution of 480 pixels, so we are going to have a density of 323 pixels per inch, which for the distance at which we usually see the watches is going to offer us a very good sharpness, and the visualization even under sunlight is positive because it offers us a peak brightness of 2000 nits, behaves very well. In fact, it has an automatic brightness feature, so when you're in darker environments, the screen won't dazzle or strain your eyes. One aspect I truly appreciated about this watch is that it comes with a night mode, which you can easily enable from the quick controls. This night mode changes the screen to a red hue, making it significantly more comfortable to view, especially at night. Some other manufacturers only apply this feature on their home screen and only with the clock has a dial, yet here, the entire interface changes to this color, creating an exceptionally comfortable feeling. Furthermore, it offers support for the always-on display feature, ensuring that the time is constantly visible. With just a quick glance, you can easily determine the approximate time without the discomfort of constantly looking at the watch. Certain dials have direct equivalents, while others present a more basic clock in the always-on display mode and a more elaborate clock when the screen is activated. This will entirely depend on the specific dial you select. We'll discuss this issue later. Finally, like most watches, turning your wrist can automatically turn on the screen. I liked everything about the screen. Let's now dive into discussing the sound, as there's another surprise in store for you. This watch actually comes equipped with 2 speakers. Typically, most watches have just 1 speaker, which is often somewhat weak. However, in this instance, it appears that the manufacturer really wanted to emphasize that you can enjoy playing music while exercising, and you can listen to it at a good, comfortable volume, which doesn't necessarily have to be loud to be enjoyable. I had the watch positioned too close to my ear. To be honest, it functions really well. You can not only play music through its speakers, but you also have the option to connect headphones. This is because the watch is capable of connecting to Bluetooth accessories. Indeed, you also have the ability to manage music, whether it's local tracks or music playing from your cell phone through Bluetooth. You can adjust the volume, skip to the next track, or go back to the previous one. Overall, there are no issues with this. The experience is genuinely quite positive. But what do you say we listen to a test of how these speakers actually sound? But remember, it's not the same as hearing it live. In this case, the watch doesn't have any emergency siren or anything similar, but it does integrate microphones to be able to make calls, so you can initiate the call from the watch or answer incoming calls with ease. However, what I enjoyed the most about using both the microphone and the speakerphone is the access it provides to an artificial intelligence assistant, and the truth is that it is a very comprehensive assistant, fully supported by OpenAI, the creators of GPT Chat. Then you will realize that it is indeed an assistant with exceptionally good intelligence. It not only responds to basic commands, but you can also ask it any type of question you desire. You can inquire about recipes, seek advice, or ask for anything you wish to know. You want. Like you're chatting with a friend right on your wrist, and the response will return to you. Surprisingly, it's actually not as lengthy as you might anticipate. Considering that we are engaging in these activities using a smartwatch, which, by the way, boasts an absolutely spectacular battery life, this section has truly been the most impressive part of the watch for me. It's such an intelligent assistant, fully aware of its existence within a watch. When you request specific commands related to the watch, it can execute them. For instance, it can set a timer, or you might ask it to add a reminder, which it will then add as an event to your calendar. Additionally, it can control system functions, like turning on the flashlight, switching off the automatic brightness, and handling numerous other tasks. So, I must emphasize that the assistant is truly quite surprising. By the way, its name is Zepflow. You can even inquire about its name, and you can ask it numerous other questions, and it will respond to everything. You can engage in a conversation, and it will remember the context of your previous discussions, which is excellent. Of course, all of this will obviously require you to have an internet connection on your cell phone, but it also supports basic commands that do not require internet connection. And you can enable in the settings that simply by turning the wrist is already listening to the command you are going to say, although obviously this will consume more battery. It is up to you as a user if you want to enable or disable these options. But for example, you could tell it to return to the home screen, to activate the do not disturb mode, the battery saving mode, the movie mode, to control the volume, to control the brightness of the flashlight, to make your cell phone ring, to open notifications, to open a specific application. In short, there are many commands that you can tell it, and it does not need the internet connection to answer you that. The same applies when you're setting alarms, using timers, or when you're controlling music playback. Then you will come to realize that the voice assistant is truly one of the most appealing features we notice in this watch. Especially, as I mentioned, when you consider the battery life it provides us. Most watches with very smart functionalities typically last 1 or at most 2 days on a charge. However, in this instance, it's not a watch that you will need to charge every single day, and that is a significant advantage. This is all while it still maintains very smart functionalities. Let's discuss health monitoring, as it offers a comprehensive experience. First, there's an activity tracker app measuring basics like step count and approximate kilometers traveled. It even tracks the stairs you've climbed, the estimated calories you've burned, and how often you've been on your feet throughout the day. Additionally, I appreciate that it provides a measurement of how long you've been sitting, which is a feature I don't usually find on other watches when it comes to monitoring your heart health and blood data. It will default to heart rate monitoring every 5 minutes for a balance of accuracy and energy use. You can set it for every minute or every 10 or 30 minutes depending on your preference. I like that you can choose the accuracy level and energy consumption you want. It also tracks heart rate variability and resting heart rate. You can set alerts for high or low frequency, but for these alerts, monitoring must be active every minute. All this data is accessible from the watch or the well-designed CEP app, where you can also view detailed historical data from previous days and the current day. The watch can also measure blood oxygen levels without any issues. It continuously monitors your blood oxygen, so you don't have to initiate the measurement manually. It may even alert you if your oxygen saturation drops too low, although this feature is turned off by default in the CP app. Additionally, you have the option to manually log your blood pressure or blood glucose levels if you wish to keep track of them, all within the same application. It can measure your sleep phases, including REM, also your heart rate and breathing speed during sleep. With these parameters, it shows your sleep regularity after measurement on different days. You also have the option to record tags in the app before you go to sleep. This is useful if you want to get very specific about your body's behavior. Now, for instance, you can log days when you spend time reading before bed, or perhaps you listened to music, exercised, watched a screen, felt anxious, or ate something. You also have the option to record within the app the mood you're experiencing when you wake up, when you're playing, or when you feel stressed. By using all these tags that you input manually, you can start to recognize certain trends and patterns that may help in enhancing your sleep habits. Although clearly this is intended for those who desire something extremely detailed. However, if that's not the case, it's not absolutely necessary to record everything. You could also simply log your mood in the application when you wake up. The watch can alert you to sleep apnea risks as it monitors breathing while you sleep. With these parameters, you can view trend reports in the app to track how your body behaves daily. The experience has been very positive. The watch is designed to measure your stress levels and provide you with an index for both physical and mental recovery. So, if it senses that you are not getting enough rest and notices high stress levels, it might offer you some helpful tips and recommendations. This feature is particularly beneficial for those who appreciate taking time to breathe and relax. Additionally, it includes apps for meditation and breathing exercises. There's also a general energy index known as readiness, which can further provide you with one number, an idea of your body's current state. All of this is possible due to the biocharge technology that was developed by Amazfit. Additionally, there is another index known as the Personal Activity Quotient, or PI. This index with just one number can provide you with an idea of your daily activity levels. Ideally, you would aim for a high PI score to understand that you are maintaining an active lifestyle, which is beneficial for the overall health of your body. There is an app that you have called Measure with a touch that will also give you the breaths per minute, and it takes about 45 seconds to do the overall measurement. I've given you these parameters. The watch is equipped with a skin temperature sensor that provides reference data. More importantly, it plays a crucial role in predicting the menstrual cycle. Women can log the start date of their period, estimate the duration, note symptoms, and more, either directly from the watch or through the application. By combining this manual input with the data collected by the watch, it can offer predictions about different phases of the cycle. This feature is particularly useful and convenient. Actually, you can connect it to an accessory called the Helio strap from Amazfit for additional monitoring options. For sports tracking, this watch supports over 170 sports modes. In each mode, you can set specific goals or choose to receive alerts when you've exercised for a certain duration or achieved a certain target. You can also configure a specific heart rate zone, which will alert you if you are currently burning calories or not. This feature helps you monitor your activity level effectively. You can also receive alerts if your pace is either too high or too low based on the settings you choose. Additionally, you have the option to instruct it to notify you once you have burned a specified number of calories, or to send you a reminder at regular intervals to drink water. Moreover, it offers interval training that can be customized to include rest sessions. You can create these types of routines through the application, even though they all involve the same workout. I would perhaps like to be able to generate routines with several workouts and rest periods in between. Hopefully that will be added with an update. The watch includes a super accurate dual-band GPS, so if you're someone who likes to go running or walking outdoors, you'll really like the experience. In fact, for running, it has even more advanced stuff, like auto-pause detection. It will support 5 or 10 kilometer running modes, even marathons, and introduces a Hydrox mode exclusive to Amazfit for those specialized and interested in running. The exercise monitoring interface is excellent, providing quick access to the music player along with all the information displayed. The watch is equipped to automatically detect up to 25 different exercises, which are sorted into 8 distinct categories. You have the option to switch these detections on or off as you prefer. By default, all these features are turned off because they can drain the battery more quickly. However, if you find it bothersome to manually set it each time you go for a walk, you can choose to activate the automatic detection feature specifically for walking. This means you won't need to manually indicate that you've begun this exercise, which can be quite convenient and useful. You can't ignore the exercise activity to do other things on the watch, but you can use the voice assistant while exercising for more interaction. After exercising, the watch provides additional info, like the training load, so you know if you can push your body more or need to rest a bit. Additionally, there's the maximum volume of oxygen known as aerobic capacity, which lets you understand the capabilities your body possesses more or less. Another important feature is the indicator of total recovery time. This watch isn't just for those who are into technology, it's also ideal for sports and fitness enthusiasts. A particularly great feature of this watch is its ability to sync your data seamlessly with platforms like Google and Facebook. Apple Health, Strava, Adidas Running Training, Peaks, and various other similar services are used to accomplish all these types of monitoring and measurement tasks. It has lots and lots of sensors like the BioTracker 6.0 PPG. It also integrates gyroscope, compass, barometer, geomagnetic field, and everything you need. So in terms of health monitoring, I think it has very good capabilities as well. Now, let's delve into the battery, which is another highly appealing feature of this watch. According to the manufacturer, it could potentially offer you up to 21 days of usage. Of course, this will greatly depend on the kind of user you are, because remember that the battery life is influenced by your daily activities. In my experience, it has resulted in a consumption of around 6 or 7% per day. With that rate, it would last me approximately 14 to 17 days, depending on how the manufacturer is performing. They promise up to 10 days with intense use. So it's quite evident that this is a watch you'll need to charge no more than once a week. It's not one of those watches that you have to place on its charger each day, which is fantastic. Actually, if you're someone who enjoys running, it would provide you with up to 33 hours of use with GPS in precise mode, or as much as 67 hours when using GPS in battery saver mode. What's more, you can easily activate the battery saver mode directly from the quick settings panel, which is very straightforward. Therefore, this watch provides a really positive experience. In fact, I found it quite challenging to discharge it in order to perform the tests that I typically conduct. And once I managed to download it, we ran the charge test, and in 15 minutes it got to 34%, in 30 minutes it was already 60%, and the full charge finished it in about an hour and 10 minutes. So, this gives us to understand that apart from the fact that it is a watch that you will not have to be charging every day when the time comes to put it to charge, maybe when it has 15% of battery, with 30 minutes you put it to charge, that's it. You do not need more than that. The experience will be very good. And keep in mind that the charger functions as a base with pins. It does not support wireless charging, and you'll need a USB-C cable along with a charging adapter, both of which are not provided in the box. Let's discuss the software that's incorporated into this watch now. It's an in-house operating system, and honestly, it's developed in a truly excellent manner. Let's begin with how to change the watch faces. You simply hold down on the top of the screen and you'll see a list of various options appear. Actually, here are a few that I've installed directly from the store. You can use the mobile application to download some covers. Some are available for free, while others require payment. For me personally, due to my particular style, I have found it somewhat challenging to find a cover that is truly ideal for my needs. However, as you can see here, there is quite a variety of covers available. It's worth noting that some of these covers consume more power than others. You will observe, for example, an indicator located at the top of the screen, which specifies if a particular cover has high power consumption. But the battery is so good that even with these high power consumption dials, the watch performs very well. In addition to this, there are other covers available that come with a variety of indicators. These can be adjusted according to your preferences. To do this, simply click on the cover and choose the indicator you wish to display right there. However, I must emphasize that this feature is available only with certain specific covers. Moreover, you have the option to perform this action to alter the indicator and thereby customize all the covers that are included in the selection. In this particular situation, when we swipe from the left side to the right, we will gain immediate access to a type of quick assistant. Here we have direct access to the voice assistant as well as to the music playback controls. Additionally, in this scenario, we have access to the weather forecast, readiness index, and also we can find the physical recovery section where it will provide us with the tips I previously mentioned, along with additional access to alarms. Provide a quick glance at your sleep monitoring, heart rate, and other important data. You can even see details about the last call you made. If we slide from right to left, we will be able to access various quick information widgets. Of course, these widgets can be changed and modified as needed. We have the option to reorder them, placing them either before or after others. Additionally, we can add even more of these widget indicators. The truth is, there is a very good and diverse variety available. Even in certain instances, it includes shortcuts to other applications. So, as you can see, this operating system is quite comprehensive. By the way, it also responds excellently, feels very fluid, and honestly, it operates wonderfully. Sliding from top to bottom, you access the quick controls, where you can take a quick look at the battery, the status of the connection with your cell phone, or you can activate a do not disturb mode or a go to sleep mode so that the screen is not turning on or anything like that. Something similar will be the cinema mode, where the screen will not be on to avoid disturbing in a movie theater, and here you have direct access to your calendar. You have volume control and a mode to keep the screen on longer if needed. There's brightness control with the automatic adjustment I mentioned, and access to settings we'll discuss later. It includes flashlight control with a red mode, but the brightness is too high for the camera to see red. I'll dim the lights for you to see how. Is effectively red, but with the screen set to very high brightness. We then have access to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi controls, as well as screen lock mode, which can be very useful when you swim or do water activities. To unlock, press and hold the button. Also here, we have a button to make our cell phone ring. What I like is you can set it to vibrate mode. If you prefer to avoid making a fuss, or if you're unable to find it, you have the option to activate the sound mode. Trust me, it certainly does make a fuss. However, if you still can't locate it, you can once again activate the sound mode, which indeed creates quite a fuss. It'll be simple to locate your phone. Here, you have the water ejection mode and a button to manage Bluetooth connections with your hearing aids. Then there's the night mode switch I mentioned. And finally, the always-on display switch, which will reduce battery life, but the duration is still very good with it on. Sliding from bottom to top lets us access notifications, which I really liked. By sliding from the bottom to the top, we can access the notifications. You will notice that if we are navigating through other areas of the watch and a notification comes in, a small icon will appear. We can touch this icon to access the notification through this interface. Observe how, even if I receive multiple messages from the same contact, they begin to appear within the same notification, which is grouped together in the notification list. If I tap it, it pops up showing the rest of the messages. The management seems great to me. And if you slide, I have the ability to utilize the AI assistant, which can provide me with additional information. Furthermore, it mentions that we have the option to swipe in order to access and use the AI assistant effectively. When reading these notifications, then notice that it takes a few seconds, and notice that here it gives me a summary. It is telling me that Mr. Pablo invites me to a game of Call of Duty on July 4th at such hours, although in this case it is asking me a question in English, so it will surely be getting better. But notice, which as you can see here, even now already provides me with the option to add it to my calendar. That particular event, or naturally, I'm able to respond directly and address it. The assistant suggests smart replies I can tap to send, and that's it. It's really quite fascinating the level of interaction that we can have with this artificial intelligence assistant. Take note that it will not only be capable of displaying the usual common emojis, but it will also show us some of the more unusual and rare ones. So in this regard, the experience is truly excellent. In fact, you can also very effectively reply with emojis. As you can see here, there is an entire comprehensive list of all the emojis you could possibly want, allowing you to fully customize your messages and your replies exactly as you prefer. The experience is extremely positive in this regard. It is actually capable of displaying the stickers that are sent to you, provided you have downloaded them at least once on your phone. This makes the experience truly supreme in this aspect. Moreover, even if you have automatic photo downloading enabled in WhatsApp, it can directly show you the photo right here on the screen. It is truly amazing how it possesses so many capabilities. This behavior. When the watch is linked to an iPhone, you get a notification but no response options due to iOS restrictions. It's not due to the manufacturer's unwillingness, but rather because Apple imposes numerous restrictions, making it impossible. Keep in mind that when you receive several notifications in any manner, if they will indeed be there. Here they are grouped more or less, even though they are not as advanced as what we observed when it is connected to an Android device. However, as it typically occurs in Android, it will display both the common emojis and those emojis that are not as frequently used. In this situation, when you receive a sticker, unlike Android, it will not display the image, and especially not when you receive a photograph. What we do have available on the iPhone, which is not present on Android, is the feature remote photography. We need to manually open the iPhone camera, and once we are within that interface, we can then press the shutter button. From the watch to take the pictures, and each situation it additionally offers a 3-second timer if that's something you're interested in. Of course, you won't get the preview on the watch, but it remains a handy feature that I wish was available for Android too. The other functions are identical on both iPhone and Android, leaving you with no concerns. Therefore, with such a range of capabilities, managing notifications becomes quite effective. Here, we can press quick reply for some answers. Alternatively, we have the option to open the full keyboard and reply manually. In fact, we could also choose to select the microphone button to dictate our message. Currently, I'm testing how the message dictation feature works through this watch, and honestly, it transcribes messages quickly and accurately, and that's it. Nevertheless, one significant improvement opportunity I notice is when you receive a large number of messages from different groups or even from the same person. At times, it gives the feeling that the notifications appear repeatedly. For example, notice that in this situation, I already have several notifications from groups and conversations. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these notifications. However, the moment I get a new message, sometimes all the notifications that I had previously discarded return. Right now, as I'm recording the video, this issue doesn't seem to appear. But anyway, when we're receiving a large number of messages, this icon here indicates that there are new messages for us to check out. If you want to see new messages, you can just turn your wrist. However, it's important to be aware that things might get a bit hectic when it receives an overwhelming number of messages from various groups. Despite this, it does a commendable job of organizing them. For instance, in this particular scenario, it appears to have a duplicate notification, but notice how it is neatly grouped here. You can actually view both the stickers and images you're receiving across all these conversations. Similarly, you are already aware that you have the option to request a summary in group conversations as well. I found the notification management to be quite positive overall, although there are occasional drawbacks, like some repeated notifications being sent or something similar. Through the mobile app, you should note that you have access to the watch's App Store, where you will find a wide variety of options to expand the capabilities of your watch, ranging from games to several productivity apps. Some others are also dedicated to monitoring sleep patterns or physical exercise routines. I have been genuinely impressed with the overall experience provided here. Take note, for instance, of how it includes an artificial intelligence image generator as one of the available apps. Additionally, there are simple games, alongside some that are more complex. In this particular case, most of the applications are free of charge, yet there is also a significant selection of paid applications available. Clearly, the paid apps will generally be of superior quality. However, I must say, I was quite amazed by the capability to install a wide variety of applications and numerous games on a watch that boasts such an impressive battery life. It's remarkable. Even DJI and GoPro offer their own dedicated apps for this watch, allowing you to manage your cameras and various accessories directly from your wrist. This feature truly provides a premium and exceptional experience. With the app, you have the ability to manage the maps that can be downloaded to your watch, enabling offline functionality. The Maps feature provides you with essential details, such as your current location and orientation. However, it does not offer turn-by-turn navigation or similar features. This would certainly be beneficial for outdoor running, especially to help you return to your starting point. As for Mexico, the option to make payments directly from the watch isn't available yet, but it might be accessible in other countries. What you have the ability to do is add various membership cards complete with QR codes or something similar directly from your mobile application. Of course, it also includes the traditional stopwatch or timer applications, which you can fully configure to suit your preferences. Additionally, it features a to-do application that you can manage conveniently from your mobile device. As you can see, you can click right here to add to-dos, which you can later mark as complete on your phone. You have the ability to add a specific date along with its repetition, and once you've added all these options directly from the watch, you can access them and mark them as needed. Additionally, it features an option to record voice memos swiftly with just a tap. This is a test recording, and it can prove to be quite beneficial during those spontaneous creative moments. Moreover, there is a concentration timer available. For instance, in this scenario, it functions as a 25-minute timer where the Do Not Disturb mode will automatically be enabled. Something that I found very interesting is that it brings a specific application to help you with the jet lag of travel. So again, from the application of the cell phone income, you have the option to add a trip. For example, if you're planning to go to Barcelona, you can also include your return details. In this instance, I entered random data, but it still displays the duration of the flight and other relevant details. Additionally, it will provide a guide 72 hours before your departure to suggest the best time to sleep in order to minimize jet lag. So it's quite interesting. It's a feature that I haven't come across on other watches. And naturally, from the watch, you are able to view this information. In fact, when adding the trip, I also inquire if you believe it will significantly impact you if you take melatonin to assist you with all the tips. And well, I just want to demonstrate some of the functions or games included with this watch, allowing you to entertain yourself during various times. For example, here's a traditional game for 1 or 2 players. Look at another game. The system's fluidity is great. Games open instantly. You won't notice the clock freezing or anything like that, which is a highlight. I'm going to intentionally lose so you can see, but honestly, many of these games are fun. Some even use the digital crown, like this one, where you move the character by sliding on the crown. So you can enjoy casual games at times. It's a great experience. In conclusion, this is one of the best watches I have tried. The battery life, which in my case would be about 14 days, is great. Even for basic users, the manufacturer promises up to 21 days. For heavy users, 10 days, so it is a watch that has battery to spare. The voice assistant that it integrates I really liked, with the support of Open, is highly intelligent, can follow your conversation, manage many watch features, and supports several commands offline to control the watch. You have the ability to install numerous applications and games, which is something we typically don't find in watches that offer such extensive battery life, so I found that aspect quite appealing. Interestingly enough, it even comes equipped with 2 speakers, allowing you to play music at a high volume, or alternatively, you can connect Bluetooth headphones for a more personal listening experience. When it comes to notifications, there are several significant features such as the option to respond using voice dictation or by utilizing the full keyboard displayed on the screen. It's fully compatible with every emoji available. Even the AI assistant is there to assist you. Regarding the notifications issue, there's room for enhancement, as receiving numerous notifications from various conversations might result in repeated alerts. Hopefully, an update will address this, but honestly, the experience has been exceptionally positive. For now, we've come to the conclusion of this video. If you enjoyed it, you know you can let us know. We look forward to seeing you.